If I want to become a strong listing agent, I have to be willing to change my behaviors. Now, let's dive into that. What does that really mean? Okay. Do you have a daily schedule, right? Hey, I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to read. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do whatever the case may be. And then maybe I'm going to start prospecting. Maybe I'm going to start, with contacting FSBOs and contacting expireds and contacting my sphere of influence. That is a behavior that, if focused on Monday through Saturday, every single day, 2 hours minimum, it's going to start to change and shape your real estate business for the better. So what am I willing to change in my sales behaviors? Okay. And then, do I need to change some of them? Right. Some of you guys probably don't have to change some of that. But if you're not focusing on prospecting every single day, 6 days a week in a market like we're in today, you're going to experience some really big lows in the business. We're going to have to talk to more people more consistently in order to hit the production numbers that you have been accustomed to and the income that you've been accustomed to for a few years now. So how do I change some of these behaviors, right? I think it's with a plan of attack, and starting Sunday night, write down your schedule. Hey, between the hours of 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. For 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, I have to talk to 20 to 30 people. And some of you guys that are experienced, you guys probably need to be speaking to 50 people, depending on what your income and production goals are, every single day. Okay. And a lot of you are like, wow, I haven't even talked to 20 people ever in a day. Well, it's time to change that sales behavior. That's not in sales. That's being passive versus being forward thinking and being aggressive towards the goals that you have set. So the next sales behavior that you should probably be thinking about is practicing scripts and dialogues in order to get better at communicating with our clients out there. A lot of times think that we're just going to come up with the great words and we don't need that extra practice or help to almost role play different common scenarios and common objections for that matter. And so I think that every single agent out there should be practicing scripts and dialogues and really getting a sense to overcome some of those objections that are coming out there that they're common every single day. Hey, you know what? The rates are too high. I hear that every single day. Well, the rates are not too high if we use this strategy, right? Like a 2-1 buy down strategy, because we can get the seller to pay, $12,000, $15,000, $20,000 to buy down your rate. You can actually have a 4% rate versus a 6% rate. Right. So that would be an objection handler for somebody that says the interest rates are too high. Okay. Another thing that we should be practicing is our presentation skills. I've always done better in my career if I practice. And if you look at sports teams out there, every single sports team, and a lot of you guys out there played sports in adolescence and junior high and high school, and maybe some of you guys played club sports and professional sports. And you take an athlete that hits a high level of achievement, and they are practicing more than they're playing the actual game. Think about that for a second. They're practicing hours upon hours upon hours to get ready for one performance. And that performance is in front of everybody. So the concept of, hey, practice scripts and dialogues and objection handlers and practice your presentations, I think that it comes into play in real estate more than ever in today's real estate world. Okay. And it's vitally, vitally important. And we can touch on that more later. Also, one of the things in sales that I learned over my 20-year history in real estate, Before that, I owned a trucking company and logistics brokerage, and I was selling freight and trying to get more business for my company and the other companies I worked for prior to owning my own company. And what we did is we asked for the business. And asking for the business was the only way we were going to get business until we actually performed. And the performance, right, at that time, delivering freight on time without damage, right? That was the performance, doing what we say we were going to do. And it was the only way to get a repeat customer. Okay, so if you think about that and how that relates to real estate, it's the same way. Okay, so I think it's vitally, vitally important to continue asking for the business. Otherwise, nobody really knows what you want. And it puts you at a disadvantage over your competition, over the people that are asking for the business when you're not asking for the business. They do not know that you're needing the business. They're not knowing that you want more work. And because they have their own lives to live, they're not even thinking about real estate out there. So when you're prospecting, always ask for the business. All right, so let's go over how does a seller choose an agent to work with when selling their home? Okay, so number one, it's the relationship. Okay, that's number one. It's been that way for a long period of time. You know, I think your friends, your family, that's where the majority of the business comes from, probably 70, 80%. And I think that's going to increase even more. Past clients and center of influence. So those two things are vitally important for a real estate agent's business. And that's where listings are coming from. So your center of influence is everybody that you know, everybody that knows, likes, and trusts you. And, you know, I think that you have to be prospecting them and asking them for the business that you're wanting to have and building the relationship. And don't only ask for the business. Give things of value, educate them in the real estate market, educate them on what you're doing to help your community thrive. And those are the things that they're going to really register in their brain of saying, hey, I really like this real estate agent. They're doing this for the community. They're educating me on the marketplace, and they're consistently asking for the business. So they're going to come top of mind when it comes to for me to buy or sell. And it's going to come top of mind for them when their neighbor says, hey, yeah, we think we're going to sell and we're going to move over, you know, to this place. And that's when you're going to come top of mind. You always continuously ask for the business there. So the relationship with people is very, very important. On top of that, it's going to be low-hanging fruit of going after FSBOs and expired. So how does a FSBO or an expired choose an agent to work with? Well, one, they've got to be in some type of relationship with you. Okay, for especially a FSBO. FSBO is wanting to sell their property. They're just not typically wanting to pay a commission. And so a lot of times you can build a relationship. It's not going to be off of one phone call. It's going to be off of a phone call. It's going to be off of visiting the property, educating them, helping them for 3 or 4 weeks until they say, you know what, this is too much work for me. I'm not getting the traction that I wanted. I'm not getting the showings I wanted. And I thought I was going to save the commission. I can't do that anymore. So I'm going to list with a real estate agent. And that real estate agent that has built that relationship with them over the course of 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, that's the real estate agent they're probably going to choose for the interview. Now, on the interview, you've got to build trust, and they've got to feel that you're the right agent to list and sell their home successfully. That's vitally important as well. So that's where the presentation skills come in that I talked about earlier of practicing your scripts, your dialogues, and your presentations. The other thing for expired listings. Now, today we have a lot of expireds in a whole bunch of markets across the country. Not every market, but every single market should probably have some expireds. But some markets, like the Phoenix market, has a tremendous amount of expireds. You know, the values have gone down, and the success rate has plummeted from the years past. And so, typically, we find that today, in today's world, that the agents out there have not prepared for this type of market. Okay. They haven't prepared with understanding how to price properly and understand, not chasing down a market. So when a property, let's say a list price of 500,000, and the comp, something resets comps, one sale at 475, the seller and the agent normally say, oh, it's just one sale, it's not a big deal. Well, the next intelligent listing agent says, you know what, we could price that property at 500 like the competition is. And this one just sold at 475. We've got pressure. We got down pressure on pricing in the marketplace because of the interest rates. I think we need to be very, very competitive. And so the highest I will list this house is 475. I think we should probably list it at 450 because that's what it's going to be worth. That's what it's going to be worth in another 30 to 60 days if we sit on the marketplace. So I'd rather price it appropriately today, and then I would like to try to drive up the price with multiple offers. And we can do that if we price it appropriate for the market. I want it to look like a phenomenal buy today. And there is no guarantee that we're going to have a ton of showings. But if we can get 5 or 6 showings by pricing at 450,000 versus 0 showings at 500,000, wouldn't it be better to try to play those potential buyers off of each other to give them a deal on the property and get you to where you want to go next? So that's another thing of why to go after expired listings. So how are they going to choose a listing agent for an expired listing? Well, you've got to be professional, number one. Number two, you've got to know the market inside and out. You've got to see some of the inventory or at least be able to speak intelligently about the comps and know where this market is headed. So, some markets are low inventory right now. It's almost a seller's market again. But it's not acting like a full-on seller's market. It's also acting like a buyer's market because the buyers have a lot of fear out there. And so understanding that if you show up and you know the inventory, you know the comps, you know where the pressures are in the marketplace, you can speak intelligently about all of that, you're professionally dressed, and you have a history of successful sales, then I think your odds of listing that expired listing are going to skyrocket.